Good day, folks, and welcome to review number 68. Well, this is a figure I've been anxiously awaiting to review, and I finally get my chance. It's a look at the SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Wizard Flame Style. So, starting off looking at the packaging, we see that Kamen Rider Wizard has a new style for the Figuarts boxes with this large round window with the kind of a silver ring around the edge here. And I'm really liking the look of this packaging. It looks very sharp. So this is, at least as far as I'm concerned, some of the best looking Figuarts packaging we've seen so far. But the figure is clearly visible there, and you have a image of Kamen Rider Wizard down here in the lower right, and a gemstone over here, which is kind of a nod towards the rings in the show. The back of the packaging features several different photos of the figure in various poses and showing off several of the accessories. And here we have the wizard figure itself. And overall, it's really good. I love the wizard design. So I've been anxious to get this figure for quite a while. Unfortunately, I do have a couple minor complaints about it. His proportions seem just a little off. In particular, his feet. His feet, for some reason, just seem huge compared to the rest of him. But really, though, the design, though, I love the design, and I still love this figure. But as for the figure itself, you get your typical head articulation there with multiple ball joints on the neck. You've got the Figuarts shoulder joint here with multiple joints there, double jointed elbow. Although the double jointed elbow doesn't quite give you full articulation there, it's a little frustrating. You've got a ball joint on the wrist. You've got the driver that can fall off. It's not the doesn't stay on the best, unfortunately. You've got a nice flexible coat here. It does kind of hamper some of his leg articulation, though. But there's a couple other pieces, and I'll show those off when we get to the accessories here. But you've got the typical multi-jointed Figuarts hip joint, double jointed knee, multi-jointed ankle here, and a little toe joint. So all the typical Figuarts articulation just restricted a little bit by this coat here. But overall, I'm very pleased with the way this figure turned out. One of the things I love about Kamen Rider Figuarts are their the multifaceted eyes they tend to have. Now, Wizard is a little bit different because he doesn't have those compound eyes like most of the other bug style Figuarts. It's got more of a jewel look to it here. And unfortunately, some of the facets actually came out a little smooth on the face. I think some of those facets could have been a little sharper detail. But overall, I still like the look of the design. Now, as far as accessories go, this guy seems to have more than most of the other Figuarts I have. You've got tons of hands over here. You've got different hands for flares, for holding the sword, for holding the gun, a relaxed hand. Like I said, just a bunch of hands. And you've got the Wizard gun in gun mode and sword mode. You've got a separate belt for which direction the hand on the belt is turned. You've got a separate actual belt piece with the ring holder loop there. This figure art also comes with a special Tamashii stage with Wizard on it, and then the standard figure art comes with a kind of a billowing robe part, but because I also happened to get this, I got this from HLJ. It also came with the additional strike robe piece, and that that's just more of a flared piece for the actual kick strike. So yeah, plenty of accessories with this guy. One other issue I wanted to bring up with the ankles here, just about every other Figuarts figure I have does a really good job of hiding these ankle joints, and surprisingly, this the balls on these joints are very visible. And like I said, this is a little surprising to me considering how well they've done at hiding those joints on other figures, especially when you've got these cuffs right here on the ankles that could have been used to help cover them up a little bit. So I do take a little bit of an issue with that. It does provide for a little bit more movement in those ankles, so it may have been one of those things where they were trying to decide which way they wanted to compromise, and decided because of, I guess, the maybe more of the aerobatic nature of Wizard's fighting style, that they wanted to give a little bit more articulation there. I can't really say too much on what their reasoning was, but for whatever reason, they decided to leave those joints exposed. Just one other little nitpick here, and I will say that I'm nitpicking this figure a little bit more simply because I'm a big fan of Wizard, and like I said, I've been looking forward to this figure. I love the design, I love the show, so that's probably why I'm nitpicking a little bit more here. But with the belt, if you remember my review of Kamen Rider O's, that belt actually turned to use its little angle gimmick, and I kind of wish that they had done the same thing with the Wizard belt, rather than make you swap the piece out. I think they could have done something. It's just a simple turn one way or the other, so I think they could have done it. But I guess just to be cleaner, they wanted to go with a replaceable belt to give you a cleaner look, which I guess is a little confusing for me, considering with what they did with the joints on the ankles, why they wouldn't go for a joint at the belt versus swapping the belt out. But it's again, it's a nitpick. It's not something I would say would kill the figure for me, but it's just a little thing. The SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Wizard Flame Style is not without its flaws. There are some definite proportion issues. Unless, of course, Haruto has much bigger feet than I think. And I also take issue with the lack of effort in trying to hide the ankle joints. Now, while these issues do detract from the figure somewhat, I'm still very satisfied with this figure. The number of accessories that come with Wizard are impressive, especially compared with some similarly priced Figuarts I've purchased. And the billowing robe pieces really complete the dynamic look of Wizard in action. I don't regret for a minute grabbing this figure, and I hope Flame Dragon turns out just as good, if not better.